Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nick loses it after Jill and Lily both hack his cane. According to Thursday, October 9th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman goes rogue while Jill Abbott fights with her son, Kane Ashby. Let's explore the exciting action occurring in GC in more detail. Nick deviates from the rules. Jill interrupted Jack Abbott and the cane at the previous episode on October 8th because she wanted to confirm what she had heard about his impolite behavior. Victor Newman informed her that the latest scam committed by Kane's father, Colin Atkinson, is what brought him his wealth. Jill acted doubtful when Victor told her, but she now wants the truth and she wants it soon. Jill clearly has her BS detector set when she confronts Kane. Jill wants Kane to tell the truth. Kane will also have to deal with his ex-wife, Lily Winters, on Thursday, so it won't be his only source of conflict. On Thursday, Lily's suspicions about Kane and his intentions won't be allayed. Is Kane able to tolerate being read the riot act by two of the most significant women in his life? Or does he emerge resembling a shriveled lettuce head? Put on blast, Kane. Jack, meantime, brings pride to his father, John Abbott. What is Jack up to? He takes action to safeguard the interests of the Abbott family. You can always rely on Jack to defend his own, but should he be more concerned about Victor or Kane? Nick veers off track elsewhere. He recently got into a heated argument with Phyllis Summers at Society, but it didn't work out. When Nick asked Phyllis to end her relationship with Kane, she responded that his life had been given to him for free. Is Nick about to do something startling in order to prove Phyllis wrong? Would he resign? When he and Sharon Newman meet up with their son, Noah Newman, in Los Angeles, is he planning to do something dangerous with Newman Enterprises? Kane demonstrates how Nicky Wright uses chancellor control to entice Jill. According to spoilers on The Young and the Restless, Jill Abbott is not as bad as everyone believes, but Nicky Newman has her perplexed. It appears like Kane Ashby might try to entice Jill back to his side by threatening to reclaim control of Chancellor Industries in front of her. Will Kane's offer turn out to be a disaster? Victor Newman purchased the Chancellor from Jill Abbott. Right in front of her son Billy Abbott, Jill sold Chancellor to Victor Newman. According to Jill, she was worried that Billy would run Chancellor over. Jill's personal health problems prevented her from running Chancellor. Jill was confident Catherine Chancellor would accept Nicky as the company's manager. Although Jill and Nicky had a good start when they met at the ranch on October 7th, things quickly went south, especially after Kane's name was brought up. Nicky tried to persuade Jill that Kane was dangerous, but Jill stood up for Kane. In the end, it appears that Victor could have reached her. Lily Winters and Jill Abbott face Kane Ashby. By the end of the week, Kane will be confronted by Jill and Lily, so Victor must have struck a nerve. Because Jill believes everything Kane says, Victor is unaware that he has her completely enamored. Kane can suggest that he's merely doing this to get Chancellor and Jill to believe him. Like Jill, Catherine loved Kane and would do everything for him. Billy has disputed the notion that Kane was kin to Catherine and Jill. Kane may explain it that he only wants to get Chancellor back for Catherine and run it himself as Jill doesn't feel up to the task. After all, during the last 6 years, Kane has demonstrated his abilities. Kane would ensure the business stays on course. Jill Abbott could be played by Kane Ashby. To stay ahead of their plans, Kane might get Jill to cooperate with the Abbotts and work as a mole. Kane might, however, also hint at giving Jill a voice in how Chancellor is managed, or perhaps returning control of the business to her. Kane is one of Jill's weaknesses, and Chancellor is another. According to spoilers, the possibility of collaborating with Kane and running for Chancellor once more would be all it takes to get back on the Kane bandwagon. Will she once more turn against Bill and give everything to Kane? Confrontation, going rogue, and preserving a legacy. According to Thursday, October 9th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Genoa City is going to see some shocking revelations. A character has several run-ins, One person goes wild, and another defends his family's heritage. What can we expect from Thursday's performance? It's time to find out. Nick Newman acts irrationally. According to Thursday, October 9th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman will act out. What does this mean, specifically? He had to take care of some Newman business, so he told Sharon Newman to go to Los Angeles without him, even though they were meant to go together. Will Nick fully change his mind and do something wildly out of character, or will he leave the office to join his ex-wife sooner than anticipated? To discover out, fans will need to tune in. Jack Abbott keeps his family safe. Jack Abbott will defend his family's interests across town. She confronted Kane Ashby during the Wednesday, October 8th episode in an attempt to persuade the billionaire tycoon to give up his AI software so that it might be destroyed. Read this. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Mariah's missing and Tessa's Boston clinic shocker. It's difficult to tell if Jack was able to reach Kane. What will he do next to make sure Kane doesn't get his way and take over Genoa City and all of its legacy businesses? Ashby Kane is bombarded. Speaking of Kane, according to Thursday's teasers for The Young and the Restless, he will face two challenges. One from his mother, Jill Abbott, as well as one from Lily Winters, his ex-wife. Recently, Victor Newman told Jill that Kane's wealth was obtained in a last-ditch scam that Colin Atkinson orchestrated. Jill went to hear Kane's side of the story because she wasn't happy to hear this. Good news spreads quickly. Thus, it's likely that Lily will learn of the mustache's information and confrontation with her ex once more. Will the women accept Kane's version of events? Which plot point in Thursday's program are you most excited about? Leave a comment below. Thursday, October 9th spoilers for The Young and the Restless indicate that there will be confrontations, disclosures, and brutal power struggles. As ancient scars are torn up, families are split apart, and loyalties are put to the test, Genoa City turns into a pressure cooker. This episode is poised to redefine friendships and ignite feuds that might permanently alter the destiny of the Chancellor, Abbott, and Newman empires. From Nick Newman's wayward spiral to Jill Abbott's violent encounter with Kane Ashby. Let's explore this complex web of redemption, heritage, and treachery in depth. Part 1. Nick Newman breaks the Newman legacy and goes rogue. Nick Newman, the passionate son who frequently disapproves of Victor's icy precision, has always been the outlaw among the rebels. He's going to go too far this time, though, and Victor might never forgive him. Nick is still hurt by what Phyllis Summers said to him after their heated disagreement at Society. According to Phyllis, he was born fortunate and took advantage of every chance that came his way. "Nick, you've never had to fight," she spit out. "You're just a product of Victor's name, but you believe you deserve what you have." As he speeds through the neon haze of Genoa City's night, those words keep repeating in his head. All of the memories of business games, Victor's manipulation, and the ongoing pressure to be the good Newman's son flash back. From the parking lot, Nick gazes at the glass tower of Newman Enterprises, the city's reflection flitting over the mirrored panels of the structure. Something breaks within of him. He has had enough of being the submissive son, weary of battling for Victor's favor only to get undercut constantly. Nick makes the decision that he is done being polite this time. According to rumors, Victor has been covertly supporting Kane Ashby's business empire in return for authority over the Chancellor's inheritance. This is the last straw for Nick when he finds out. Even though he is aware of his father's fixation with power, he feels betrayed by supporting Kane, a guy Victor previously detested. Cutting off Victor's access to a crucial Newman tech subsidiary is the first act of rebellion that triggers Nick's decision to go rogue. What begins as a principled action swiftly escalates into a full-scale corporate revolt. Uncomfortable but devoted, his aide cautions him that Victor will interpret it as an act of war. Nick grins and responds with a chilly assurance that even startles him. "Good," he replies. "Give him a chance." After Sharon Newman confirms their LA Nick is too lost to meet with Noah, he tells her to leave him alone, saying it's for business. but the reality is more sinister. He is contesting Newman's business, not managing it. The seed was sown by Phyllis's comments, and Nick is now resolved to establish his independence, even if it meant demolishing everything his father has created. Part 2. Cain Ashby versus Jill Abbott. A son's deceit, a mother's anger. Jill Abbott is a barely contained hurricane at the Abbott mansion. Since their last meeting, Victor's remarks have been bothering her. Cain's wealth, according to Victor, was the consequence of Colin Atkinson's latest scam. In her lifetime, Jill had heard enough charges to fill a dozen tabloid covers, so she initially tried to laugh it off. However, a seed of suspicion was sown by Victor's tone and that smug, knowing look. Now, without knocking, Jill storms into Cain's modern office with her signature fire. He's in the middle of a conversation on the phone, but he can tell by her demeanor that this isn't a social visit. "Stop the call," she commands. Jill doesn't believe Cain's attempts to calm her down with charm, the same charm that has saved him from innumerable catastrophes. "You want to tell me how exactly your empire got so damn big overnight?" she asks, her voice trembling with rage. Cain narrows his gaze. This clash has been anticipated by him. Victor has, after all, been scattering doubt like landmines throughout the town. He says, "Don't tell me you're listening to Victor right now. You are aware that the man lies for fun." Jill, though, is too shrewd. The finest of them have lied to her, and she is able to spot lies at a distance. "Perhaps," she replies, "but his story makes too much sense this time. The line was supposed to stop with Colin's final scam, right? But you just so happened to get all the money? How practical." Between them, the air becomes electrified. Cain takes a step forward, his face growing serious. He growls, "I earned everything I own. I built it, there are no tricks or scams. Do you think I'd risk everything now?" Jill searches his face for the youngster she used to think of as her son. She only sees a man who has turned into a mirror image of the very con artist she once stood up to. "Don't act like I'm innocent," she yells. "You resemble your father too much. What's the worst? You're not even aware of it." Hurt and anger erupt in Cain's eyes. However, he stops himself. Since Jill still has emotional and symbolic sway over Chancellor Industries, he cannot afford to lose her. He therefore lowers his voice. "You believe that I am similar to Colin," he replies softly. "However, I might be more like Catherine. She had faith in me. She noticed my potential rather than my origins." The line lands. Jill goes cold. She is deeply affected when Catherine Chancellor is brought up. Cain is aware that the matriarch has always had a sweet spot for her legacy. Despite her expertise, Jill still feels the sting of nostalgia, since it's manipulation masquerading as sentiment. Yes, Catherine loved Cain. Furthermore, Jill can't get rid of the idea that perhaps, just possibly, he isn't the villain that everyone believes him to be. Her gut tells her otherwise, though. She makes one final turnaround as she departs. "Cain," she continues in a lethal whisper, "you'll wish you'd stayed in Australia if I find out you're lying to me." Section 3. Lily Winters faces her history and Cain's reality. Lily Winters shows up shortly after Jill storms out. Lily's encounter is ice, cold, exact, and relentless if Jill's was fire. She had been silent lately, observing from the sides, but she felt she had to meet Cain in person after hearing about Victor's discoveries through rumors. They have a lengthy and complex history together, having been married through heartache, forgiveness, betrayal, and love. Even though they have harmed one another more than anyone else could, Lily still harbors the hope that Cain has changed. However, that hope wanes a bit as she walks into his office and notices the defensive gleam in his eyes. She crosses her arms and says, "I just got done talking to Jill. Would you mind telling me the truth?" Cain rubs his temples and moans. "Lil, not you either. I've had enough of defending myself." "Then quit lying," she yells. "Victor informed Jill that Colin's most recent swindle was the source of your wealth. Was he correct?" The hush lasts long enough to validate her pre-existing anxieties. Kane tries to look her in the eye. I didn't request Colin's cash. I simply didn't decline. Lily laughs resentfully. You did take it, then. Desperate, he takes a step toward her. I put money into it, multiplied it, transformed it into a real thing. I cleaned up Colin's mess for you and the children. Lily interrupts him, saying, Don't you dare say it was for me. That lie, that everything you do is for your family, is something you've always told yourself. But it's always about you. Your pride. Your pride. You must demonstrate that you are not that man. But that man is you, Kane. You simply conceal it better now. Her words cut like glass through him. A part of him knows she's right, even though he tries to deny it. Since his first day in Genoa City, he has been seeking legitimacy in an attempt to be recognized as more than just the son of a con artist. Lily notices the turmoil on his face and softens a little. You could have told the truth, she murmurs. You had the option to be honest. Rather, you used a fiction to create an empire. Kane, that isn't redemption. That is a house of cards that is about to fall apart. She takes a step back when Kane reaches out. Don't, she advises. I no longer know who you are. Kane watches her go, understanding that despite all of his economic successes, he is losing the one thing that has ever really meant. Section 4. Jill's predicament, the allure of Chancellor power. Jill spends the evening alone herself in her suite, sipping a glass of scotch and reliving the events of the day. Victor's warning, Kane's entreaties, Lily's rage. A message from Kane says, Meet me tomorrow, and her phone buzzes. I have something that will make a huge difference. She agrees against her better judgment. Kane presents his idea the following morning at a private office with a view of Chancellor Park. Once more, he offers Jill a portion of Chancellor Industries, claiming to be restoring her rightful legacy. Jill's eyes enlarge. When Billy's carelessness and her own health collapsed, she was forced to sell Chancellor to Victor. It was the most difficult choice she had ever made. Kane is currently holding everything she has ever desired in front of her. With a smooth and convincing voice, Kane states, Chancellor was never meant to be in Newman hands. You and I, the individuals who loved Catherine, are the rightful owners of it. Let's reclaim it. It's a brilliant manipulation. He is aware of Jill's shortcomings, including her pride, her longing for the past, and her intense desire to feel like Catherine's heir. But Kane's intentions aren't entirely good. Beneath his admirable speech is a plot to use Jill as a front to regain control of Chancellor and unbalance Victor and the Abbotts. Jill hesitates, though. She hears Nikki's voice reminding her that Kane is hazardous. Victor's grin appears in front of her. However, Catherine is drawn in a different way by her memory. Please do this for me, Kane murmurs. For her. Jill shuts her eyes, torn between feeling and logic. The idea of taking back Chancellor and fixing her errors is enticing, and she nods in that vulnerable moment. Kane smiles, yet it falls short of his eyes. Part 5. The Abbott Firewall. Jack Abbott preserves the legacy. Jack Abbott, meantime, is fighting his own battle. He has been following Kane about for weeks because he is wary of the man's covert power struggles and abrupt cash gain. Jack told Jill it would come back to bother them when she sold Chancellor to Victor. Jack chooses to take preventative action now that there are whispers circulating regarding Kane's next takeover. He summons the Abbott board to an urgent meeting. He paces the room and declares, Kane Ashby is not just after Chancellor. If we don't stop him, he's going to build an empire that could swallow Jabot whole. Ever the sane voice, Tracy warns him against becoming overly suspicious. Jack, however, is more knowledgeable. He has previously encountered charming, cunning, and vicious guys like Kane. Jack starts strengthening the Abbott brand by securing their assets, securing patents, and establishing new partnerships, including, grudgingly, a short-term partnership with Victor Newman. Jack murmurs, keep your enemies close. Working with Victor, however, is a contract with the devil, as he understands deep down. Even if it means destroying relationships, he will stop at nothing to keep his family safe. Part 6. The Risky Gamble and Nick's Crazy Turn. Nick's revolt takes a more drastic turn than anyone anticipated back on the Newman front. Nick takes one step further after shutting Victor off from important Newman divisions. He gives the media access to an internal memo that details a dubious merger Victor planned behind the board's back. The consequences are instantaneous. The value of stocks declines. The board wants answers. Additionally, Victor is enraged. The altercation erupts as the patriarch barges into Nick's office. "You consider yourself a man because of this?" Victor roars. "Would you betray your own family?" Nick remains unflinching. "No, father. This, I believe, frees me." The Newman family is shattered in ways that might never mend by this risky announcement. Despite Nicky's entreaties, neither man will step aside. The harm has been done. Victor glares after Nick as he storms out, Adam Newman's ghost flitting over Victor's thoughts. A son is lost to rebellion once more. Section 7. Kane's House of Cards, The Fallout. The strain erupts toward the conclusion of the week. This time, Jill and Lily face Kane united for their final confrontation. Their notes have been compared. They are aware of the discrepancies. They have also discovered that he has been playing both sides. With a quivering voice, Jill says, "You used me. Just to get me back under your thumb. You dangled Chancellor." Lily continues, "And you lied to me again. You have not changed in the least." Although Kane makes an effort to defend himself, the evidence is too compelling. Everything is coming to light, including his shell corporations, secret accounts, and meetings with Newman representatives. Kane appears to be cornered, for the first time, by the very individuals he believed he could control, not by adversaries. "You believe I did this for financial gain?" His voice cracks as he speaks. "I did it to demonstrate that I am more than the man that everyone believes me to be." Jill's expression hardens, though. "And you became precisely what you were fleeing by doing that." Lily sadly shakes her head. "Kane, goodbye." Kane's entire life comes crashing down as they leave. He doesn't pick up when the phone rings. His lies start to cause the empire he created, brick by dishonest brick, to sway. Section 8. Epilogue. The silence before the next uprising. The scars are still there even when the dust starts to settle by the end of the episode. In his deserted Newman office, Nick stands by himself, gazing out onto the metropolis he had just destabilized. As she sits in her hotel suite, Jill questions whether she has lost her heritage and her son in the same blow. With her head held high and tears in her eyes, Lily leaves Genoa City in her car. Kane Ashby too? In the dark, with Chancellor Park's lights shining in the distance, he pours himself a drink. "They'll all see one day," he tells himself in a whisper. It's not finished yet. By no means. Because in Genoa City, destruction and redemption are inextricably linked.